Hello, good morning, Anaisha. So this is your game played on 10th. Okay, so in this game you're black, c4, d5. Okay, so usually when you play d5, make sure if your opponent captures, you don't bring the queen outside. Because if you bring the queen outside, opponent gets a chance to attack the queen. So you have to lose a move. So usually don't play d5 directly. Instead of d5, just play something like e6 followed by d5, so that if he captures, we can just recapture with the pawn on e6, or even c6 and d5 is equally good. Okay, okay, so d5, queen a4 check. So this is actually very bad, and you played bd7, developed a piece, attack the queen, so it's very nice. Queen a5, okay, so queen a5, you thought like this pawn on d5 is under attack, so maybe you are losing this pawn. So you did good by capturing the c4 pawn, very nice. Knight a3 attacking, knight c6 attacking, developing a piece, attacking the queen, very nice. Queen c5, and you played e5, even this is very nice, opening up the bishop, trying to control the center square and also attacking the queen. Queen into c4, bishop e6, very nice, activating the bishop to the center square and also attacking the queen, which opens the queen file, very nice. Queen a4. Now I think you should concentrate more on developing your minor pieces instead of moving the queen to f6. Here you played queen f6, which I don't recommend, because the queen is not doing anything on the f6 square. So if you attack something like your bishop is on c5, maybe then queen f6 will give some threat, but now there is no threat of f6. And also queen f6 square is good for your knight on g8. So here you could have played knight f6, a very normal move, and followed by bishop c5 and do short castle with a very aggressive pieces, and black is still suffering to develop these pieces. Okay, so after this you played queen f6, which is a little dubious. Maybe your plan of doing long castle. So he played sorry, one second. Okay, so you played queen f6, he played queen b5, attacking the b7, so now the best way is to do long castle, which supports the pawn, and you don't need to be worried about the king here, because as far as these pawns are there in the starting position, it's very hard for your opponent to attack the king. So I seriously recommend to do long castle, because even if he captures the pawn on b7, both your rook and knight cannot be supported in one move. So long castle will be the only move. So here you played a mistake with bishop into a3. Now your opponent got a clear advantage by capturing queen into b7. Now see, both the bishop is attacked and your rook and knight is also under threat. So here you gave a very big chance for your opponent by capturing bishop into a3. So next time when you capture, you just make sure that what is your opponent is threatening. So you are forced to move the rook. Instead of moving the rook, I strongly suggest to play queen d8, because now if you play queen d8, if he captures queen into c6, you now have a chance to play bd7, taking a tempo, and you can survive this bishop. So this bishop has a space to come back, so but still white is okay, because he's having one extra pawn. Okay, so you played rook d8 and gave queen into c6 with a check. That is very bad. And most important thing is, After this check, you can't take the tempo by playing bd7 attacking the queen. He has a simple move to trade your queen. Now you are forced to take with the knight. Then he can just capture the bishop on a3. So he will be a piece up and you are in clear losing position. But luckily your opponent captured the bishop on a3. So, and now you played knight d4, little aggressive. But still I don't suggest to play something like knight d4. Why? Because these moves for instant it looks very nice, because there is a knight fork on c2 attacking both the king and the rook. But if your opponent is a good player, he will definitely go queen back to the b1 square supporting the c2 square. Then he will just attack the knight and you are forced to lose one more move. So instead of all these things, you could have just played knight e7, trying to support the knight on c6 and do castling. So as long as your pieces are well placed, you are always better. If you see other pieces which are very slow in development, you just keep on improving your position, like knight e7. Then you can even try rook b8 at one point, or after everything is developed, then you can go for an attack like knight d5 later. So knight e7 is definitely a nice option. But knight b4, maybe sometimes you get knight c2. You don't expect your opponent will play a mistake, right? So a4 is a very big move, very big blunder. So knight c2, good, king d1 and knight into roots. Queen into c7, which is so bad. At least your opponent should bring the pieces outside. At least a move like bishop b2 will attack the knight and also pins this pawn, and this knight is trapped. You should try something like bishop b2. Okay, so you took bishop into a2. This is very bad actually. So you should try to move this knight outside. So the best way maybe is to just move the rook and attack the queen. Rook c8. Because now the point of rook c8 is you are taking the attack on the queen and you are creating an escaping square for the knight on c2. So which is a very big move. And queen also can't escape with any checks, because all the checks have been covered by your pieces only, right? So you should, maybe he will gain one more pawn by queen into a7. Then you can just bring your knight back into the game. So you captured a free rook on the a1 and you are clearly winning. Okay, so you played bishop into a2, d4. So this is actually very bad, because his king is under pin and you can't do anything with this pawn on e5. So he is just opening on the king 5. So knight b3, queen c3, I don't know, rook cap. Okay, knight takes c1, very bad actually. This piece is not developed. You could have just moved some pieces to attack the king. So maybe rook into d4 is clearly winning. Okay, whatever, you are already a rook up, so I don't want to discuss more. King into c1, queen into f2. I seriously doubt about this move. Maybe you are still winning with whatever you play. Queen into f2, h4, queen into f1, nice. King b2, queen b1 check, king a3. Okay, so rook into d4. Rook into d4 is also winning, but maybe he'll just play knight f3, some counter, but still it's winning for you. Okay, so anyhow your opponent captured queen into d4 and gave a simple mate in one move, but you just waited for one more move, I don't know why. And now I think he got a chance to defend the mate by playing rook x3. So whenever you get a chance to checkmate him, you should not delay. So he played a5 and gave the checkmate, so that makes no difference. So you improved a lot. I hope you play more games, and that's it. Thank you, bye.